I love that intro. That's fun.
Sexy.
What? So here we are, sporadic as always, with another episode of Cleaning Out the Closet. This is an open forum that old creepy Uncle Jimmy Castle and I created for people just to come on and bitch about what they're pissed about. And today, the butcher has got a bee in his bonnet, and we're gonna figure out why. How you feeling right now, sugar?
You know me, bro. You know me. Got a lot of shit going on. People would have expected what's the difference today? But I got stuff going on with the next couple of weeks. But you know, I've had something kind of going over and over my head the last few years. And the other week, Vanessa was going to have a guest or not a guest. She was going to be a guest for a specific said person. Now, normally I would normally say, I ain't even gonna plug this shit. I ain't even gonna give them a mention. But today's your lucky day. Today is your lucky day because today
You'll
might be
gain a
the
little
day,
attention.
might be the day that you actually get some attention and get some proper fucking views. Now, you see, I'm not going to name him, Michael Larkin. Michael Larkin was the guy that was trying to get views off another lady that works in the industry of, well, soft porn, whatever you want to call it, you know? Vanessa isn't a naughty, naughty girl. She's a lovely girl. She's a lovely girl. And you people are lucky to have her. Michael Larkin obviously spends a lot of time on these social media sites, making friends with ladies, stalking them, doing his thing.
Oh,
When Vanessa said to me who she was interviewing, I basically said, "You are fucking joking. You are fucking joking."
I've heard. You said that to me before.
I
Surely you're
think I have.
joking.
You are fucking joking. That people is gonna be one of my new T-shirts. You are fucking joking. It's a bit like
Surely.
Booker T. It's a bit like Booker T. But tell me, you didn't just say that. I'm sure I said something like that to you as well, but it wasn't in their words.
So you and Michael Larkin and assorted others were involved in a show together
We
once
were,
upon a time.
we
Let's
were
get into that.
in a galaxy far, far away.
In
8 years
Jabronieville.
ago, brother. 8 years ago. 8 years ago, I debuted on a podcast called Max Wrestling. Okay, it was I am not by any means going to slag it off and say it was an absolute load of shite because that wouldn't say anything about me as a person, you know. And I'm a lovely guy, bro. I'm a lovely guy.
Lovely. Absolutely a pleasure all the time.
What I seen in this podcast was the fact that I worked with the host. I was friends with the host. So hell, I was a wrestling fan. Um, and I thought, it was my first kind of, you know, first time I was doing podcasts. So I thought, what, best way to do it is to make friends and talk with similar people. You know, that
Sure.
that's the way podcasting goes. So obviously I jumped aboard. It was a good show. We delved in we did different things. We had promo battles, we had quizzes, we talked about obviously wrestling, we talked about anything that was wrestling. I mean, you work with me, Rob. You know I have a tendency to go on a fucking rant.
Yeah. Yeah. Once in a while, sure.
Only once in a while, once in a blue moon. Now, bless me, Father, for I have just sinned. Um, You know, yeah, I have a tendency. Now, I'm going to say thank God for the rants, because without the rants, people, Max Wrestling Podcast would not exist. Now, I'm not gonna really beg people. Listen, go listen, have a listen. You know, have a listen. 8 years ago, you know, you will hear many voices. Up until the point where everyone woke the fuck up and left. And they left me and Dazzy Lee and Craig Phoenix and all these other people. Don't get me wrong, there are very, very talented people that have worked by their side. One, for instance, goes by the name of Kenny Killer, and fucking phenomenal talent. He's worked with Bill Apter. He had his own show, which was fronted and sponsored by Bill Apter, called the Sunday Segway, which has also got a show in the States. Phenomenal, really, really, really good guy. A guy that you know what, I'm going to plug him because he does deserve to be plugged. Possibly one of the main reasons I pushed myself to stay in podcasting, you know, and you know how it is when you're in podcasting, right? You need to have a plan, overall plan, and if you're going to be a host and you have nothing but dead air, where do you look to?
When you have nothing but dead air, where do you look to?
Where do you look to? Who can
Talent?
exactly? And I was the talent, people.
Okay, got you,
I
got
was
you.
the talent. I was the talent, right? I was the man that you don't get dead air with Butcher. You don't get dead air. You don't get dead air. Best heel in the business for a reason.
And
Um,
there was a noticeable increase in their viewership when you came on.
there was. Of course there
Yeah,
was. Of course there was. Do you know
of course.
what? I'm gonna steal one from Mark Henry, because that's what I do. Because that's what I do. You know, I came in there fucking kitted up. I was going to build myself into this big machine of 8, and just,
You
yeah,
showed up with balls and intention.
that's it. You know, I wanted something and I was going to take it. You know, it was a podcast that was built on two sides, a red side and a blue side. It had faces, it had heels, it had people that wanted to be someone, it had people that were already someone. Um, I was the guy that came in and I was going to stir the pot and I was going to unsettle as many people as I could. And I did that. I did that to a point where people thought it was fucking real. You know, I came in with a mask.
Yeah.
I was cutting promos. I was unsettling people. I was singing songs like "Hush, Little Baby, Don't Say a Word. Butcher's gonna buy you a mockingbird." You know, that ain't condensation on your window. That's me knocking. You know, and that's the, you know, a lot of the stuff was I built myself on stuff like that. 311 views. You know, these were big numbers, but for a podcast that wasn't really plugging itself and it wasn't getting plugged properly. You know, when you sit there and you look at some of the stuff that you see in terms of the way the product was built, Dazzy was a phenomenal editor. Everything that you see from the thumbnails to the intros, that was it.
Okay, so he needs to come over here. He needs to come over to Antisocial.
You know, that is him. That is him. And I am never ever going to slate that lad for his talent. I will slate him for being a human being, and I will slate him for I'm going to say being a coward. being a coward.
And I hate to drop a spoiler alert because the end game here, people, is going to end with the destruction of everybody who was involved.
100%. You know, this has been a long time coming. You know, I've tried to get on the show to settle the score. You know, to maybe get closure. Closure in how I want it. I don't want to rip people heads off and shit down their neck and all that sort of stuff.
Well, why don't we just fast forward to when shit started going sideways?
Okay. So what started to happen was, I was basically running the show in terms of getting numbers. I was giving people direction. People were starting to kind of like, it wasn't as easy as it was before, you know. People were complaining that they weren't getting any mic time. Sounds like a WWE, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
know,
Sounds like any
people,
locker room.
people were complaining they weren't getting any mic time, and I basically used to go along and say, "Listen, if you want your mic time, come and take the fucking mic from me. If I give you the mic and there's more than 10 seconds dead air after I give it you, I'm taking the fucker back." You know, and that's how I was. You know, bear in mind, I was a lot different person then, to what I was now.
Yeah, but you brought that guy over here to antisocial. And it's guys like that who are helping make this shit work.
What's
Like
one of
everybody that we have who's with the network who hasn't been cut is here because they're all a bunch of badasses who could stand on their feet no problem. And they just stay true to themselves because we allow them to. And a
you
big
know?
part of that is you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and I thank everyone here for having me. You know, that was one thing I always thought, that being there was, I didn't need acceptance. But I was also there because I seen something in the product, you know, and like we've done here, you know, there's no point in having weak links that can't carry a sentence. You know,
Right.
podcasting is sentences. It's fluent. It flows. There has to be a flow. Now, with Max Wrestling, that was very, very, that, you know, I'm just looking now. 7 years ago, Hush Little Baby, October 11th, 2015. Um, you know, that does appear there somewhere in the 2 hours 6 minutes, which I'm critical of constantly. Too many fucking hours of discussing the same shit, and that's where it got to. That's where it got to. The product that is WWE, the product that is Raw, SmackDown, wrestling in general. Very, very predictable, week to week, same banter, same
Right.
battling, same predictions. And you know what? Do you know what? I think I loved it. I loved the get together, you know what I mean? The back and forth with the, I don't agree with you. No, you know what I mean? I loved that sort of, I loved it. Um, what I didn't love was the lack of. I always use the term, don't expect anyone else to watch something you wouldn't watch yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So all this, it wasn't live. It was all fucking pre-recorded, right?
Right.
Now, I guarantee every episode that went up, I would watch more than twice. You know, 2 hours. So I was recording for 2 hours, and then I was watching for another 4 hours, right? So that was every week. Now, what I expect, I knew that there was people there that weren't listening and weren't watching their own product back to see where
Right.
problems were. Okay, so to me, that is where it all started to go wrong, because I was of the opinion that you know don't put something out that if you've got an issue with me criticizing it and say, listen, it's just way too much dead air. Because I could go through one of them podcasts and I could still go through it now, edit it, and I could add it second for second, and I can guarantee watching a 2-hour show, I will get at least 12 minutes of dead air. Dead air.
And that on that note, it's really funny because like we've all got such big mouths over here that you're never gonna find dead air on our network.
It's never in a
Like
million.
even during like Ghosted, like when we're trying to get the video loaded to watch it, there's a little bit of dead air. You can
Yeah.
just count on like me or Jimmy just randomly going stupid. And then we just bicker for a minute. We're gonna fill that dead air with insults.
Yeah, but that's the thing, dude. There is nothing for me personally, as a person, I hate dead air. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. You automatically get the feeling that the whole thing's been shut down, and you know, um, yeah,
Basically, if anybody has to check their screen to make sure you're still broadcasting, it's a fucking problem.
it is a problem. It is a problem. And it was just, there was just so much that I looked at, and I just thought, wow, you're putting so much effort into editing. The ideas were there. We were doing a quiz, we were doing promos. The structure of the show wasn't bad. Thinking and looking back now, and kind of, you know, looking at it from the outside now, we had captains. We had captains. Um, we also had factions. Team Blood, Red Money. We had factions. We had a quiz, and the loser of the quiz, the captain, would have to do a promo. And that was a weekly thing. The issues that started to come in were we were starting to branch out in terms of bringing people from across the shores, trying to. We built a network called the Four Corner Network, which was the name was my idea. The old product was, but the name was my idea. We also had another network that was done by a guy that was part of the network part of the podcast when I come on board, and it was called the Swerve Talk Network. Good names, good ideas. They were creative people, but there was no kind of there was no big plan. There was no big plan. They were bringing in people, you know, and all it was like an extension to the wrestling show, and that was it. There was no side shows, or there was none of that. And they completely lacked creativity. And everything you heard that was positive was always, oh, look at the editing, look at the intros, look at all this, look at all that. And they were kind of like, it is good, but what do you think of the podcast?
Right.
You're missing the point. In all honesty, Dazzy should have ripped Max Wrestling up and gone and worked for himself as an editor and got paid, because
Right.
he would have made a living off it, because he was good. He was self-taught. No college, no nothing like that. He was self-taught. And I will always, regardless what went on and things like that, Dazzy was a centerpiece to what went on. but I ain't gonna shit on his what he's good at, because that's getting personal on another. It's personal. It's not professional. You know.
Yeah, but they got very personal with you
Oh,
first.
they did, yeah, 100%.
All right. So what was the first explosion that blew the whole fucker up?
Right, we brought people in. Forget what the guy's name was now. Lewis. He was a Puerto Rican. I think he was Puerto Rican from the States, and he had his own little podcast group. And me and him bumped heads from the start. I didn't. I don't know. There was something there with him that I just couldn't get on board with him at all. And we had the promo battle royale coming up, and I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna make you famous, and that's what I did. That's what I did. I went hunting for a reason for him, not to like me, you know, and that was it. I basically went off on a fucking tandem. I crucified him in a promo. And I got a lot of, proper heat.
Lot of
Not,
heat. Yeah.
I
Real
got,
heat. Real heat.
I got his wife calling me out in the group, in the actual wrestling group we had, Max Wrestling Podcast. She wasn't happy. Friends of his weren't happy. Podcast members weren't happy. And and I got basically, I can't remember what it was, but they decided to punish me in a it wasn't that, it was an actual punishment. Um, they kicked me out of this fucking tournament, right? And I just said to him, "You realise I was only fucking cutting a promo, yeah? It's not like I can cross the shore and assassinate it or something. I don't understand where all this heat is coming from." And they really took offence to it and that. And I mean that started a massive, massive kind of um, just the way things were going. I was
So you were basically overwhelmed by the stench of pussy.
100%. They were full.
Yeah. All right.
The fucking podcast was full of pussies.
Huh, it's too
You know,
bad.
the podcast was full of pussies. Snowflakes, as we call them.
Snowflakes.
Easily offended pussies. You know, After a while, you rub it a bit too much, and they get fucking irritated. So
And
all
see,
you
for me, if I heard you cutting like an offensive promo on
no,
me or Jimmy or something, after I got done laughing, I might ask, was that a work or a shoot? But I'm not going to be like, fuck you, fuck him.
brother, I don't believe, right. Whenever I was cutting promos, I don't believe in fucking doing it on a. I'm only kidding. I try to keep it as real as I can. You know what I mean? I want the people that were, the people, the actual viewers would vote at the end of like the week when we do like the tournaments and that. They would actually vote over the internet and click who was the
Right.
winner. And I was just of the opinion was, I want to win. I want to win them all.
Every one of
I
them.
want to win them all, man. Fucking, you know what I mean? Best team in
Like
the business
Pokemon.
alive. You know, fuck me. I live the lifestyle. I actually used to say, I ain't no fucking walking gimmick. You know what I mean? I used to walk around work, dude. I got sacked in work. I lost my job, right? And I left the shop that day, and I pointed at the manager across the shop floor, and I said, "I'll be back in a few weeks. Get your pen, get your paper. I want an apology." Right? And they laughed at me. They laughed, right? I left with a choice of words. Went to my union rep. We put together a case. 4 weeks later, I'm walking back into work with my fucking uniform on. I stuck my middle finger up. I said, "Get a pen and paper.
Get to writing, son. Get to writing."
Get that pen and paper." And he said, I don't think so. I said, "Oh, I think so." I said, "I think so." I said, "You ever heard of an unfair dismissal tribunal?" I said, "I'll open one of them," you know, and that's what it was. And the lad that works with us, the lad that Dazzy Lee, the guy that put this podcast together, this is how we became kind of friends, through working. And the BHITV was born, like, and that's it. And I used to just say, I'm not a gimmick.
Well, let's get into the guts though, man, because it got fucking ugly. So let's get to the ugly.
Right? We started working with a group called Raw Wrestling Talk. They're an American-based group. Wouldn't be bad contacting them, to be honest with you. They're all wrestling fans. A friend of mine, Amia Costello, Blackbane. Very, very lovely guy. Lovely. I haven't spoke to him in a while. He's been very, very busy. But it all basically used to filter through these two groups. Now, I started to. It was starting to get uncomfortable for me because there were people being brought in to host the show, and there were other people on this other end, and I was very, very protective of Max Wrestling, very protective, because I'd hear people talking on the other side, how they're doing this and they're doing that, and I'd be like, "You're not doing anything. You're calling yourself a fucking radio show. You're doing nothing. I can hear you fucking pre-recorded. I can hear you clicking the fucking mouse. Radio show." So I was basically getting involved there, and they were bringing these people in, and I was just kind of like, "What is it you actually want to do now? What is it you actually want to do?" And I was getting kind of nitpicky with Dazzy, and I was saying, "Listen, dude, you've really got to start working on the you're always going to be able to do the editing and make it look $1 million. The end result is the result that will keep people coming next week, the week after, the week after that. If you're bringing in the same, not the same people, but the constant weak links, you're never going to learn from it. So then what was happening there was people were talking to Dazzy behind the scenes, and I could see that Dazzy was slightly being very, very uncomfortable around me. And he never pulled me up. He never said anything. You're butcher. You know what I mean? Can we talk? Nothing like that. Nothing like that. And thinking about it now, maybe he was uncomfortable, but I never ever thought that I gave him a reason to think to what actually went on. What actually went on was there was a thinking about it now. The bunch I'm going to use it. I'm not going to say it. That's Jimmy's word. I'm gonna stick to saying pussies. They basically made did a vote, right? And they decided that I was a bully, right? In a way that Dazzy felt that he was being bullied and he couldn't control the show and the product anymore, which was bollocks. I always said this, absolute bollocks. All I ever did for all them years, there was a guy that worked on that show, right? And he single-handedly, I'll never forget it. We did a show with him, and he hosted the show because Dazzy wanted to take, wanted to watch someone else do it. And this guy took role of the show and ripped it to fucking pieces. I remember a lad called James Belmont. I'm talking, and then this guy says something, and I go completely silent. And all you hear through this guy James Belmont's voice is, "Oh, fuck, Butcher's gonna lose it." Well, I was protective of it. I believed in it, dude. I believe in it like I believe in what we're doing. If I don't, what the fuck's the point of me being here?
Sure.
You know? So they basically had this vote, dude, and they did it in a fucking live broadcast where they all cut segments on me. Bazzy Lee did a fucking sit down in a chair like he was the Godfather, right? and I was proper. See, I see my ass because it was how they kind of tried to portray me as being a bully. I ain't no fucking bully. I ain't never bullied anyone in my life. I'll bully bullies. You know,
True that.
these fuckers are there, man. You know what I mean? They're not used to fucking make people feel like.
And even around here, I started that circulating thing. Remember that the other day? That thing I put. Yeah. In fact, let's share it. I've been circulating this around the company. That feeling you get when you look at your phone and you see Butcher is calling. And it is at that moment that you realize you fucked up.
Yeah.
When we have a problem in-house, Butcher settles it.
I say and that's I just felt, it might sound pathetic to people, but I felt a little bit. I'm not going to say betrayed, but I am gonna say it fucking hurt me a bit because I've never been called a bully in my life. And I was basically kicked from a show I'd been part of for the best part of 6 years.
Jesus.
Literally cut off. People fucking blocked me on Facebook. Um, I lost access to stuff, and it was stupid. Now, the key fucking people in this were Moses Marquez, Michael Larkin. Yes, Michael, you. Yes.
Fuck you, Michael.
Mr. Born Again, fucking Christian, fucking believes in God. God's definitely watching over you, son. I'm telling you, because if Butcher lived on the same fucking side of the street as you, yeah, you'd fucking run in front of fucking incoming traffic to get away from me. That's how fucking pissed off they left me, dude. I think there was about 5 of them, right? That did this thing. And
real quick, just for fun, before we continue, let's just run down the quick fuck you list. So first fuck you is to Michael Larkin. Who's the second fuck you to?
Moses Marquez.
Moses, you're a piece of cunt. Go fuck yourself. What's next?
Craig Phoenix.
Not even worth talking about. That dude's a nobody piece of nobody. But fuck you anyway, Craig Phoenix. Continue.
Dazzy Lee.
And Dazzy Lee, I'll get you a spoon so you can eat my ass. Fuck you.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Let's move forward.
Amazing. I like that.
We're gonna have to get that cut out. We'll make a reel of it.
But yeah, they basically just. I'd gone through at the time, dude. This was round about the period where my depression was all starting as well, and I used to look forward to every Thursday where we'd record, and I wasn't recording now. I'm not saying it was a massive, massive issue, but it was something that had fucking, been part of my, my weeks, for many, for a few years. And it didn't just affect me through the Max Wrestling. It was the other group as well, Raw Wrestling Talk, where people were starting to, point the fingers. Dare I say there was a few other people, Nicola Matthews, Daniel Crimmins.
Fuck you guys too.
You know, these were people that I thought were friends. And it was just a case of fucking bunch of people got together where, in fact, the real fucking bullies were the people didn't pull me aside and go, listen, but if they'd have pulled me aside and gone, you know what, you need to, no, I'd have probably told them to fuck off. You know, but the thing that actually really started it and put the nail in the coffin was when I started Straight Up Wrestling Discussions Group. Yeah, I had a mission with that. You know, to put 500 people within 12 months. I'd done that within half a year. The community page in itself, the business page, I'd got over 1,000 in that. You know, within 12 months. And I wasn't really doing anything podcasting wise. I was just posting. And I had a guy request to join the group. Now, I used to have a thing, a little like it'd notify me when people were snooping.
Right.
And this guy that was in the group, he was going through my private profile. My fault for not having it fucking locked down. That is my fault. That's my bad. But he was taking screenshots of me fucking my little girl. Right? This is the Travis Walker. He could deny it all he fucking wants, but I've still got the evidence there. And this fucking little shitbag, yeah, he was doing that type of shit to gauge and get a reaction from me. You're not going to get a reaction from me across the fucking pond, you know. What's the point of me doing a fucking, you know, a promo on you or a fucking back and forth over the internet?
What's the point in him taking screenshots of your kid in the first place? What's up with that?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Did you ask him?
No. Oh, dude, he'd never have the set to talk to me. That's why he set himself up as a fake account. Because he blocked.
Oh, sounds like a leather fat move.
Oh, that's exactly what he did. You know, he'd already blocked me off Travis Anderson. So he went and built this you know, side thing. And that's what he was doing. But all these fucking little cronies that he surrounded himself with at Max Wrestling, and these other people at Raw Wrestling Talk that said, you know, that they base their fucking, you know, their lives on morals and what is correct and what isn't. They're all a bunch of fucking phonies. And you know what makes me really laugh now is I left 3 years ago, right? I didn't leave. I got kicked out because people get very confused, and there's far too many fucking snowflakes around. You know, people that lack the minerals to control people like me. I mean, you can't control people like me. You can't control people like me. I'm just fucking. I am. How do William Regal say? I'm just born naughty.
I was born that way.
Right? I'm a guard dog. That's what I am. I listen. I've always had issues fucking growing up, whether it be in school. You know, I'm just one of them people that can't be settled. For me, respect is respect. I give respect. You know what I mean, and I earn respect. Both the same thing. I work my ass off, but at the same time, you know how I work, Rob. Jimmy knows how I work. Chris knows how I work. Everyone here knows how I work. If I don't think you're suited, or I smell bullshit, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
True goddamn story.
You know. Yes, Max Wrestling. I've never stopped.
But over here, it's appreciated.
It is, and it's nice to feel appreciated. I mean, Max Wrestling is still sitting on a 300 and odd fucking subscribers, and they're still struggling to suss out how the fucking hell you promote. I mean, looking at their views, they're up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and they still haven't sussed it out. And that's what I always said. What do you want to do? Do you want to fucking you got a chance they got a chance to fucking be somebody, but you've got to know what the fuck you want to know. There's no point in having you know a list, a guest list the size of the fucking NWO first roster. And you can't fit that many people on fucking TV. But yeah, I mean, listen, when I heard Vanessa say to me the other day that she was going to be interviewed by one Michael Larkin, I turned around to Vanessa and I said, basically, yeah, tell me you're fucking joking. Right? To which Vanessa contacted this little shitbag and told him exactly what was what, to the point where this little cretin curled up in the little shell that he was born in. And listen, I tell you, like a little puppy, he rolled onto his back and
Showed that belly.
his fucking paws. Right? With people like that, when they roll over and show you their back, their belly, they've surrendered.
Sure.
You had no,
And but let's be honest too. Vanessa knows how to make a dude feel about that fucking big if she wants to.
That's it. You know, that's it. But yeah, he rolled over. He started saying, "Oh, I was in the wrong. I was heavily induced on meds, and I've got epilepsy." Let's play that fucking little violin, motherfucker. You know, Michael Larkin, you sir, I tell you honestly, you are a victim. You're a victim of thinking that you're going to be somebody, but you lack the balls to follow through with it. You're a royal kiss ass. That's what you are. Yeah.
And what's his name again?
Michael Larkin.
Now listen, guys, we're gonna call this an antisocial network scavenger hunt. Okay, look high and low. We are trying to help Michael find his balls, right? So now they're little teeny tiny little fucking balls, right? They're like a mouse's balls, except smaller, like a tic tac that was cut into like 3 parts. So if you find one of those, send them to the antisocial network, Care of the Butcher, and we will shove those motherfuckers right back into Michael's scrotum, and then he can run around with his teeny tiny microscopic little ball sack in place. Fuck you, Michael Larkin.
It's terrible, dude. I mean, the
I felt
behavior,
good.
the behavior of how dare he? How dare he? I mean, to make excuses and say that I was on medication at the time. I've been on medication most of my fucking life. I've never apologized for it.
I tell you what, buddy, you're on medication now, but pretty soon you're going to be on a breathing tube. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
That was a satirical threat, everybody. That was not legitimate. I don't want the cops knocking on my door.
I'm just listen. This is something that I'm gonna share, and I'm gonna fucking laugh because they said that I wouldn't go and people wouldn't work with me and blah 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 blah. You know, listen, working with me is not a problem. It's respect. Respect. People take people for granted, right? People like me surround themselves with like-minded people.
Right.
People that think the same and people that have felt the same. This is what this group is, Max Wrestling. This is antisocial. Okay? This is how we are. We're not born that way. We just find it. Some are born that way, some aren't. But life molds us. Life molds us.
Now we're doing pretty fucking good.
know,
It sounds like maybe this Michael Larkin and Leatherfuck should work together.
I think that'd be superb.
They're both like-minded losers.
No. But yeah, Michael Larkin, dude, seriously, you need to control your urges. Control your urges, because you, sir, the last young lady you were working with, yeah, I heard what you did. You made that young lady feel so fucking uncomfortable. After many years of working together, and then you told her about your undying love, you creepy little bastard. So people,
Yeah.
this,
The sad thing is, in this little private boys club people like to do on their own, like we got the antisocial, and then you get these other dudes starting up their little things, and they want to run it like a dictatorship, and they think they fucking know everything, and they have aspirations to the stars with no action plan on how to get there. So then what they do is the only thing they can do, guys like Leather fucking Fat and that Michael idiot, is they just start trying to go after ones who are succeeding where they failed. And I just want to put it out there. Anybody who be hating on the network, who be hating on me, come at me, bro. Because we need more content for cleaning out the closet. Now, 2 networks have tried to fuck with me. They're not around anymore. We can make it 3. Right? I mean, we're very easy to work with and get along with, but at the same time, the brain trust of like me, Jimmy, Chris, and you, we might be forgiving and be willing to hand out chances, but we don't suffer a fool ever.
I mean, I'd just like to say that, people that want to say that I've just criticized and been wrong, before we get mixed up, listen all the way through this podcast. Because if you've just jumped in there when I'm bombarding my frustration out, check about the beginning where I praised.
Right.
Okay? Never professional, only personal. Different. But, this cleaning out the closet's an open door. It's an open door.
That's right.
If you want to come on and actually put me straight, I mean, I'll give you your chance. I won't even appear on here. You could talk to Rob.
No, you'd be on. I'm not going to bring that little bag of cunt on unless you're here. But you know me, if I'm going to be the moderator here, I'm going to be the moderator. Like when he's making a point, I'll shut you up. I have the power to mute people's microphones. And same with him. When you're making your point, I'll shut him off. But Michael, you got to understand, dude, I've made this offer to everybody that we've had beef with. Come on the show. Say your piece. You will not be censored or edited. Come on and say it. That's all.
And you can bring your friends with you by all means.
Yep. Work it out.
We'll make it a Survivor Series.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all right. So you feel like we could put a pin in this? We're pretty much over the time.
Hey, I just want, I know that Michael Larkin is probably watching now, so I figure I mention his voice, he might take it, share it to the millions
and millions
of anti-social network fans. There you go. And it was at that moment that your phone went off and you realized you
fucked up. I'm gonna make a Morgan fucking Freeman read over to go over that graphic, and we're gonna share that shit out as real. Because if nothing else, it's absolutely true.
Very true. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Michael,
No way.
please accept. I'm
buddy.
I want to see that belly.
I mean, my attitude is still going to be very much fuck you because I think you're too much of a coward. But I'm not going to attack you. I'm attacking you now because you're not here. I'll attack you to your face if I have to. But just come on, man. Let you guys have it out.
Well, we can play the "Fuck You" song by Lily Allen.
That's right.
You know, we can play the "Fuck You" song. It's been a while.
Oh shit.
You know.
Unfortunately, it's not loaded up into this room. Another time.
Michael, the opportunity is there. Please accept it. Open the door. The door is open to your Max Wrestling buddies as well. You know, come aboard. We'll make you famous.
But in the meantime, Mr. Larkin, this is for you.
Yeah. This is for anybody who needs to tell somebody to fuck off. Well, hi, go fuck yourself.
And just for good measure,
no one wants your opinion. Fuck you very, very much.
just thought I'd end it with a little bit of music.
God, I love Lily Allen.
And on that note, we're going to end this latest one of Cleaning Out the Closet. The invite's open. We'll do it again. We'll do it again tonight, Michael. Just hit me up. Hit Butcher up. Don't hit Jimmy up. Jimmy will destroy you. Yeah, fuck you, motherfucking. You know, let me tell you something else about that son of a bitch. I think I just